Hello students, very good morning. Today we continue our lecture with the unit 2 sequence and series. And the topic for today is sequence, but before going to start the sequence, the weightage of this chapter in GTU exam, that is 20%, it is as equal as the partial derivatives. See students, we already learned two chapters. First is Fourier series and the second one is partial derivative. The weightage of Fourier series is 10%, weightage of partial derivatives is 20%, and the weightage of this sequence and series is also 20%. So it is as important as partial derivative, right? And it is very easy chapter, so please learn carefully. Okay, so let's start our first topic, that is sequences. So first one, the definition of the sequence. See, any any order set of real numbers, that is u1, u2, u3 up to un, it may be finite or it may be infinite. So any set of real number is called sequence, and it is denoted by the bracket, curly bracket, un. Okay, if number of terms in a sequence is finite, if number of terms in sequence is finite, then that sequence is known as finite sequence. And if the number of terms in sequence is infinite, then that sequence is known as infinite sequence. So it means we can say that there are two types of sequence, finite and infinite, and it depends on its number of terms. Okay, the next one is limit of a sequence. So I'm starting here with the notation, that is if limit n tends to infinity, un equal to L, where this un is our sequence, then this is the limit of a sequence. And in the proper manner, if we want to write the definition, it is like a sequence un tends to a finite limit, a finite number L, as n tends to infinity, if for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists m, this m is an integer, such that mod of un minus L, which is less than epsilon, for all n greater than m. This is the definition of limit of a sequence. Now, the main topic of the sequence, that is convergence, divergence, and oscillation. Students, this concept will help you for the solution of the example. So be careful for this topic, finite sequence. If you have given any finite sequence and anyone asks you the given sequence is convergent or divergent or oscillatory sequence, then first, if the sequence un has finite limit, The sequence is said to be convergent. Sequence is said to be convergent. Let's take an example. Suppose see, this is not 4n, this is un. This one is un. Devarsh. Okay. This is un, this is not 4. Okay. So, here let's take an example. Suppose our sequence un, that is 1 upon 1 plus 1 by n. Okay. And if we apply limit both the side, here limit n tends to infinity un, and here limit n tends to infinity 1 upon 1 plus un. So as we apply n tends to infinity, this term 1 upon s is tends to 0, and this 1 by 1 is 1. So our limit is finite, that is 1. So hence limit is finite. Our sequence un is convergent, right? And no Kushal. 1 upon n is 1 upon infinity, so that is 0. Yes, Kushal. And the final answer is 1. Similarly, for the second concept, if the sequence un has infinite limit, see this is infinite, the sequence is said to be divergent. Okay, again take an example for the better understanding. That is, if our sequence un is 2n plus 1, and if we apply limit both the side, limit n tends to infinity un, then here limit n tends to infinity 2n plus 1, and after applying limit our answer is infinity. Okay, so as you know, if the sequence has infinite limit, so our sequence is divergent. So any doubts, students, about these two topics? Any doubt? Otherwise, we'll move for the next one. Let me know in the chat box. Hitik Mehuria, last slide. Okay, Hitik. See, this is last slide. As you want to see the last slide, Hitik. Any doubt, Hitik? Okay. Okay. So let's move with the third, that is, see, we want to check the convergence, divergence and oscillation. If the sequence has finite limit, our sequence is convergent. If the sequence has infinite limit, then sequence is divergent. Now the third one, if the limit of the sequence un is not unique, then sequence is said to be oscillatory. then sequence is said to be oscillatory. Let's take an example here. Our given sequence un is minus 1 raised to n plus 1 upon 2 raised to n. Okay, after applying limit both the side here, so limit n tends to infinity, here minus 1 raised to n plus 1 upon 2 raised to n. So when we apply n tends to infinity, at that time our second term will be always 0, because as n tends to infinity our denominator is bigger and 1 upon 2 raised to n is going to 0. But for the first term, if our n is even, our first term is 1, so 1 plus 0, that is 1. And if our n is odd, then our first term will be minus 1, right? So in this case, our sequence has two limits, that is 1 and minus 1. So it means our limit of the sequence is not unique. So given sequence is oscillatory. Limit is not unique, and we can say that sequence is, therefore sequence is oscillatory, right? Okay. Munil Nayak, ma'am, please explain again. Okay, Munil. See, Munil, the third top one is, if our sequence un is, limit of our sequence is not unique, at that time we can say that sequence is said to be oscillatory. Okay, so we have taken example, our sequence is minus 1 raised to n plus 1 upon 2 raised to n, right? So after applying limit both the side, if our this n is even means what? That is 2, 4, 6, right? So 1 upon 2 raised to 2, 1 upon 2 raised to 4, 1 upon 2 raised to 6. This is nearer to 0. So 1 upon 2 raised to 1 upon 4, 1 upon 8, 1 upon this term is nearer to 0. 0 point something like that for every even and odd n. But if we take here n is even, then this minus 1 raised to for even n, this one is plus 1. So 1 plus 0 is 1. See Munil, here as n tends to infinity, what does it mean? N tends to 1, 2, 3 up to so on, right? So if we take as 1, 2, 3 up to so on, as n tends to infinity, this denominator will be bigger, and 1 upon the bigger value tends to 0, right? That means our second term is 0. As n tends to infinity, our second term is 0. But for the first term, there are two different values for even n and odd n. For even n, our first term is positive 1. And for odd n, our first term is minus 1. So 1 plus 0, that is 1, and minus 1 plus 0, that is minus 1. Right? So after applying limit n tends to infinity, we have two limits, 1 and minus 1. And as limit is not unique, our sequence is oscillatory. Students, anyone have any doubt? Otherwise, we'll move for the next topic. Okay. So next one is monotonic sequence. Yansu, please hide your camera. Okay. For monotonic sequence, a sequence is said to be monotonically increasing, right? If un plus 1 greater than or equal to un, and a sequence is said to be monotonically decreasing if un plus 1 less than or equal to un. So let's take an example. Suppose our first sequence, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 up to so on, right? See, here un plus 1 means next term is always greater than its previous term. This term is all greater than its previous term, right? So here in this like 1, un plus 1 greater than or equal to un. It means this sequence is monotonically increasing sequence. Any doubt? Monotonically increasing. Similarly, if I take other example, that is 1, 1 half, 1 third, 1 fourth, right? See, the next term is less than its previous term. So it satisfies the uh, Krish. But what if it is only equal to un? See, this is monotonically decreasing. Okay. Now, if I take one example like 1 minus 2, this one is positive 3, this one is minus 4. Okay. So, in this case, our sequence is neither increasing nor decreasing. Our sequence is neither increasing nor decreasing. At that time, it is known as an alternating sequence. Okay. At that time, it is known as alternating sequence. Okay, Krish? Very good. Now, see, there are three type of case: monotonically increasing, monotonically decreasing, and alternating sequence. So, have you any doubts, students, about this? If you have any doubt, let me know in the chat box. Otherwise, we'll move for the next topic. Okay. The next one is bounded sequence. Okay. For the bounded sequence, a sequence is said to be bounded if there exist small m and capital M such that small m less than or equal to un less than or equal to capital M for all n. Okay, so this is the definition of bounded sequence. If that sequence has the lower limit and upper limit, then that type of sequence is known as bounded sequence. Now, some notes, important notes for you. Number one, every convergent sequence is is bounded, but converse is not true. Okay. Roll number 74. Repeat the bounded sequence. Okay. See, if any sequence has two boundaries, the lower boundary and upper boundary, then that sequence is known as bounded sequence. See, every convergent sequence is bounded. every finite convergent sequence is bounded. See, uh, every finite convergent sequence is bounded. Suppose I take one example, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, up to. Suppose I take 100, then this sequence is known as, this sequence is convergent and this is known as bounded sequence. Okay? Okay. So, right? Now the first note for all of you, that is every convergent sequence is bounded but converse is not true. Number 2, a monotonically increasing sequence converges if it is bounded above. And the third one, a monotonically decreasing sequence convergence if it is bounded below. Okay? So these are the theorems and we can say the statement for the topic sequence. Now we'll move for the example. So let's start example of the sequence. That is, our first example is test the convergence of the sequence n square plus n upon 2n square minus n. Okay, so let's start the solution. Here our un is n square plus n upon 2n square minus n. After applying limit both the side, limit n tends to infinity un, and here limit n tends to infinity n square plus n upon 2n square minus n. So if I get n square common from the numerator and denominator, then both n square will be cancelled out and the remaining term is 1 plus, here I get n square common, right? See, if I am writing here, if I get n square common, the remaining term is 1 plus 1 by n. And from the denominator, if I get n square common, the remaining term is 2 minus 1 upon n. Okay, this both n square will be cancelled out, and after applying n tends to infinity, if I apply n tends to infinity, then 1 upon n is 0. So here 1 plus 0 and the denominator is 2 minus 0. So my answer is 1/2. As the limit of my sequence is finite and that is 1/2. So limit is finite, therefore sequence is convergent, right? Limit is finite and that is 1/2. Therefore the sequence un is convergent. Okay students, any doubt in this example? Yash Kushal, very good. Your answer is absolutely right. Students, have you any doubt in this example? Otherwise, we'll move for the next one. Okay. So next one is test the convergence. Next example, that is test ma'am, what if we take n common from both the numerator and denominator? Ishika, if we take only n common, then that is, see, we have to try that we get the finite limit. Okay, so if we take only n, then there is n plus 1. So that is infinity by infinity. Okay, so that is not defined term. Okay, so that is not perfect. Then we get infinity by infinity. That is not defined term. Got it, Ishika? Okay. So taste the convergence of the sequence tan hyperbolic n. Taste the convergence of the sequence tan hyperbolic n. Let's start the solution. So here our given sequence un is what? Tan hyperbolic n. Now I am applying limit both the side, that is limit n tends to infinity un. Here limit n tends to infinity tan hyperbolic n. Students, this is, if you remember, the hyperbolic function sine hyperbolic n, that is what? Sine hyperbolic x, that is e raised to x minus e raised to minus x by 2. Then cos hyperbolic x, that is e raised to x plus e raised to minus x by 2. Now tan hyperbolic x, that is sine hyperbolic x upon cos hyperbolic x, right? So if I substitute the formula of sine hyperbolic x upon cos hyperbolic x, then both two will be cancelled out, and my final formula, that is e raised to x minus e raised to minus x upon e raised to x plus e raised to minus x. Okay, so I'm applying this formula for this tan hyperbolic n, that is limit n tends to infinity. Here e raised to n minus e raised to minus n upon e raised to n plus e raised to minus n. Okay. Now, Yash Panchal, what is the mean of hyperbolic? See, this is one type of function. As you have a trigonometric function, just sin x, cos x. This is one other function. This function is known as hyperbolic function. Okay. The next one, if I represent this e raised to minus as e raised to n minus 1 upon e raised to n, and here 1 e raised to n plus 1 upon e raised to n. After taking LCM in the numerator and denominator, that is limit n tends to infinity un, here limit n tends to infinity, here e raised to 2n minus 1 upon e raised to n, and here e raised to 2n plus 1 upon e raised to n, and that both e raised to n will be cancelled out. Now if I take e raised to 2n common from the numerator and denominator, then e raised to 2n, the remaining term is 1 minus 1 upon e raised to 2n. Similarly, in the denominator, e raised to 2n, 1 plus 1 upon e raised to 2n. So, after applying limit, the second term will be 0 in the numerator and in denominator, and our limit is 1. Since the limit is finite, therefore our sequence un is convergent. Any doubt? Yes, Yashika. Uh, Janil, no, you cannot apply here the L hospital rule, because in this case, for L hospital rule, you have given any function, but in this case, you have given a sequence. Okay. In for the L hospital rule, this un, that is a particular term, that is a particular function, but in this is a sequence. Okay. Okay, So let's move with one more example, that is test the convergence of the sequence 2 minus 1 raised to n. So the solution is un equal to 2 minus 1 raised to n, right? After applying limit both the side, limit n tends to infinity un, here limit n tends to infinity 2 minus 1 raised to n. So what will be the answer, student? What is our limit of this right hand side? Anyone? Let me know in the chat box. What is the limit? Perfect. Very good, Kushal Trivedi. Yes, Devdani, you are also right. Abhi. Yes, very good. Uh, some students are partially right. Yes, Janil. Yes, Ishika, Harshil Acharya, very good. See students, in this case, when we have minus 1 raised to n, listen carefully. When we have minus 1 raised to n, at that time we have to think about the even n and odd n. If we apply n even, at that time what? If we take n even, then this minus 1 will convert into the plus 1. So we have 2 minus 1 and 2 minus 1. So our answer is for 2 minus 1. So our answer is 1 for if our n is even, right? But if we take n is odd, then this minus 1 will remain minus 1 and this minus minus is plus. At that time we have 2 plus 1, that is 3. So if n is odd, at that time our answer is 3. It means we have two different limit, 1 and 3. So we can say that our limit is not unique. And as our limit is not unique, so our given sequence is oscillatory, right? Un is oscillatory. Any doubt? Any doubt, students? Okay. So let's move with the next, that is sandwich theorem for sequences. Sandwich theorem for sequences. So for sandwich theorem, let un, vn and wn be three sequences such that un less than or equal to vn and vn less than or equal to wn for all n. So if limit of n tends to infinity un is equal to limit of n tends to infinity wn is equal to L, then limit of n tends to infinity Vn also equal to L. In this case, students, we have three sequence, Un, Vn and Wn. And the condition is Un is less than or equal to Vn and Vn is less than or equal to Wn for all n. At that time, if the limit of Un and limit of Wn are same and that is L, then by sandwich theorem, limit of Vn is directly will put as L. Okay. So this statement is known as the sandwich theorem for sequences. Let's take an example for the on this sandwich theorem. That is, show that the sequence un where un equal to sin n upon n converges to 0. Converges to 0. Okay. So the solution is here. See, as you all know, we want to prove that the un sin n upon n converges to 0, right? And yes, Yash Kushal, absolutely right. So the limits of sin n always lies between, we know that, what we know? We know that sin n always lies between -1 to 1, right? So, as sin n lies between -1 to 1, and if we divide -1 by n, here sin n by n and 1 by n. So equality will be the same. It is less than or equal to remain same, right? Now, if I found the limit of left hand side and the limit of right hand side, that is limit n tends to infinity minus 1 by n, that is what? As n tends to infinity, so the value of the minus 1 by n 0. Similarly, limit n tends to infinity, the limit of the right hand side, that is also 0. So, by sandwich theorem, as the limit of the left hand side is 0, limit of the right hand side is also 0. So by sandwich theorem, limit n tends to infinity, sin n upon n is also 0, and we want to prove that the limit of sin n upon n converges to 0. See, his answer is 0, it is finite, it means un converges to 0. Our sequence has finite limit, that limit is 0. It means our sequence is converges and convergent to 0. Right? Any doubt? Students, have you any doubt? Munil Nayak, please explain sandwich theorem. Okay. See, Munil, here we have three sequences, un, vn and wn, right? And these three sequences have one condition, that is this sequence un is less than or equal to vn and this vn is less than or equal to wn for all n. And we have given that if the limit of this un and this wn are equal, and that is equal to L, then automatically the limit of our middle sequence Vn is also L, that is by sandwich theorem. Okay, so in this theorem we apply in this example. We want to find the limit of sin n upon n, right? So we directly write that sin n always lies between -1 to 1, and we want to prove the limit of sin n upon n. So we divide all by n. Then we find the value of limit n tends to infinity of the left hand side, that is -1 by n. Then the limit n tends to infinity 1 by n, that is right hand side. Both are same, that is 0. So as per the sandwich theorem, the limit of our middle sequence, that is sin n upon n, is also 0, as our